The world of sport is mourning the death of the three-time Formula One world champion Niki Lauda, who has died at the age of 70. The Austrian made one of the greatest comebacks in the history of sport when he returned to racing in 1976, just 40 days after being horrifically burned in a crash. Well, his rivalry with the British driver James Hunt was legendary and made into a film. Katie Gornall looks back now on his life.
Niki Lauda was a fighter on and off the track, a man who succeeded and survived in his sport's most dangerous era. He won his first world championship in 1975 with Ferrari, and more titles looked certain until this terrifying crash at the 1976 German Grand Prix. Other drivers had to rescue him from the wreckage.
We got him away from the burning Ferrari, got him to lay down on the racetrack, and I kneeled down and put his head on my lap. What we didn't appreciate at the time, though, was that actually all the injury that he was going to suffer much worse from was the inhalation of toxic fumes from the burning fiberglass, which then got into his lungs and almost took his life at that stage.
Just 40 days later, his wounds unhealed, he was back behind the wheel. He'd been read his last rites in hospital, but refused to give up.
When that feeling came, you get a big fright. You know, you're really worried and frightened that you're going to die, and then that means you start everything possible to keep you going, and you can't start your body because the body doesn't react. You only can start the brain. And when the brain works, the body starts to work sooner or later.
His determination to return that season was fuelled by his great rivalry with British driver James Hunt. He would eventually lose his crown to his friend, but came back the following year to become world champion for a second time, a feat that was recognised by the BBC in 1977.
The BBC trophy for the Outstanding Overseas Personality of the Year.
Lauda would win the title again, this time with McLaren in 1984. And today his former team was one of many to pay tribute, saying, "Niki will be forever in our hearts and enshrined in our history." Former world champion Jenson Button said simply, "A legend has left us. Rest in peace, Niki." And fellow Austrian Arnold Schwarzenegger described Lauda as an icon, saying, "I will miss this generous trailblazing hero with my whole heart." Later, he would return to Austria to run his airline, Lauda Air, and would go on to hold managerial roles in F1, notably at Mercedes. But his influence extended beyond the track. Today, Billy Munger revealed how Lauda helped him after his own horror crash 2 years ago.
He had so many kind things to say about me, and he really could, I guess, relate to my situation and the determination to get back to motorsport after having a serious accident. Yeah, so it's super sad, and motorsport's lost one of the true legends of the sport.
The three times champion leaves a legacy in his sport like no other. Lauda lived to inspire.
Niki Lauda, who has died at the age of 70.